Russia's attempts to take Pokrovsk have taken a turn that even seasoned analysts didn't see coming. Instead of launching massive mechanized assaults, instead of storming the city with tanks and infantry like it did earlier in the war, Russia has shifted to something far more covert, far more dangerous: encirclement and infiltration. Small teams, 2 or 3 men at a time, now moving quietly, slipping through gaps in Ukrainian lines, hiding in abandoned buildings, schools, basements, even civilian homes. And while these infiltrators sneaked into Pokrovsk, Vladimir Putin had only one real plan for them: stay hidden, cause chaos, and die buying Russia time, because help isn't coming for them. Not in time, not in this environment. Ukraine knows exactly what they redoing and has launched a brutal search and destroy operation to wipe out every last infiltrator before they can link up, regroup, and form a strike force from within the city. It's a cat-and-mouse game played in the rubble of a once bustling Ukrainian city. Pokrovsk, once home to 60,000 people, and one of Ukraine's most important logistical hubs in Donetsk, is now a maze of debris, shattered schools, gutted apartment blocks, and streets covered in dust and shrapnel. And in this maze, Russian infiltrators believed they could hide. They believed they could masquerade as civilians, discard their uniforms, blend in with the few residents left, and wait for an order to rise up from within. But Ukraine saw it coming. According to a November 23rd report from the Kyiv Independent, Ukrainian forces have switched from defensive tactics to dedicated urban clearing operations. Their mission is simple: find every Russian hiding spot, every infiltrator, every sniper nest, then eliminate them. This entire Russian strategy has been called masquerade warfare by Forces News, and the name isn't. Metaphorical Russia has resorted to literal perfidy, soldiers pretending to be civilians, which is considered a war crime under international law. Their goal is to blur the line between combatant and civilian, to force Ukrainian troops into impossible decisions. If Ukrainian forces hesitate, the infiltrators can ambush them. If they react too aggressively, Russia wins a propaganda victory by claiming Ukraine fired on civilians. Either outcome costs Ukraine lives. It's dirty, it's dangerous, but from Russia's perspective, it's effective at least until Ukraine adapts. The weather gave Russia one critical opening. On November 12th, the BBC reported a thick fog that rolled across the city, cutting visibility and grounding many Ukrainian drone units. Under the cover of that fog, Russian teams slipped deeper into central Pokrovsk. They moved on foot, on motorbikes, in small groups. Once inside, they entrenched themselves, waiting for opportunities. But Ukraine couldn't allow Russian sleeper cells to build up. A single team could ambush a drone operator. A dozen could disrupt supply routes. A few dozen could attempt a larger internal assault once the outer encirclement tightened. That is why Ukraine launched its search and destroy campaign. Ukraine's airborne assault forces released a statement describing the situation. According to them, Ukrainian defenders are not just holding positions, they're hunting. Urban firefights break out daily in the city center as Ukrainian units close in on Russian infiltrators. Assault groups are sweeping buildings one by one, clearing basements, checking rooftops, and working alongside drones that scan every alley from above. And these efforts are paying off. Ukraine's 425th Separate Assault Regiment Skala recently cleared several key areas: the railway station, the Pokrovsk Pedagogical School, Soberny Square. Each cleared area means fewer hiding places for Russian troops, and another step toward breaking Russia's infiltration strategy entirely. The city is becoming a trap for the infiltrators. One Russian enters, one Russian becomes a casualty, according to the Kyiv Independent. Since the beginning of November alone, Ukraine has killed 388 Russian soldiers inside Pokrovsk and wounded another 87. That's more than 450 casualties in a city where Russia only had about 300 infiltrators at the start of the month. That's the definition of catastrophic attrition. Russia wanted a stealthy advance. Instead, they've sent small groups into a meat grinder. Ukraine has even shared footage showing how these search and destroy missions work. One video shows an FPV drone flying through the ruins of Pokrovsk before darting into a building and detonating. A recon drone overhead confirms the strike. The message is clear: no hiding spot is safe. Recon drones find them. FPV drones finish them. And if drones can't reach them, Ukrainian infantry will. But despite Ukraine's success inside the city, the situation outside Pokrovsk is far less stable. Russia is pushing hard on the outskirts, trying to complete the encirclement. Sky News reported Russian troops advancing into the Shakhtarsky neighborhood on the city's perimeter, although, as always, footage from Russia's Ministry of Defense should be taken carefully. Meanwhile, multiple Ukrainian brigades are still active in the city. The 145th Assault Regiment, plus the 32nd, 35th, 38th, and 155th Brigades. Others have repositioned to protect withdrawal routes for when the time comes. Because realistically, Ukraine may not be able to hold Pokrovsk forever. Russia wants Pokrovsk for symbolic reasons as much as strategic ones. Moscow's media calls it the gateway to Donetsk. Capturing it would give Russia its biggest territorial win since Avdiivka. It would boost morale, propaganda, and justify the enormous casualties they've taken. But Ukraine already moved its logistics elsewhere, meaning Pokrovsk no longer carries the same strategic value it once did. Losing it would hurt morale, but it wouldn't break Ukraine's defense in Donetsk. Ukraine has also prepared for a fighting retreat. Behind Pokrovsk are minefields, bunkers, artillery kill zones, and drone walls. Even if Russia takes the city, the cost of pushing further will be devastating. And that cost matters, because the one advantage Russia still has in Pokrovsk is manpower. According to the Atlantic Council, Russia outnumbers Ukraine 8-1 in this region. Putin has committed roughly 150,000 troops to the Pokrovsk axis alone, while Ukraine faces a manpower crisis. Volunteer waves have slowed, casualty rates are high, and desertions exist on both sides. Zelensky has avoided lowering the draft age from 25 to 18, worrying about Ukraine's long-term future. At the same time, Ukraine is increasingly turning to automation to fill the manpower gap. The BBC recently reported that ground-based robots, basically land drones, now carry 90% of supplies into Pokrovsk. These small remote control vehicles are hard to spot, difficult to hit, and perfect for navigating debris. Today, they deliver ammo, food, medical gear. Tomorrow, they might carry weapons and take over roles that currently cost human lives. For now, Pokrovsk remains contested. Russia is gaining ground on the outskirts. Ukraine is crushing infiltrators in the center. Deep State analysis suggests Russia controls parts of southern and western Pokrovsk, but it remains unclear whether these are solid gains or small pockets of troops. What is clear is that Ukraine continues expanding its clearing operations and is making the city center nearly impossible for Russian troops to survive in. Even if the fall of Pokrovsk seems likely, the timeline is uncertain. A week? A month? Winter may slow Russia's advance enough for Ukraine to turn the city into a longer-term attrition battle, and that's the point. Ukraine has decided that if Pokrovsk must fall, it will fall on Ukraine's terms, after Russia pays an enormous price in blood. Tens of thousands of Russian soldiers have already died in the wider Pokrovsk offensive. Inside the city, infiltrators have been wiped out almost entirely. Outside the city, Russian units push forward under constant fire. Ukraine's drones, elite assault groups, and evolving tactics are inflicting severe losses even while outnumbered 8-1. Pokrovsk may fall, or Ukraine may hold it long enough to force Russia into another grinding stalemate. But either way, Russia's infiltration strategy has failed. Its encirclement is slow. Its manpower advantage is being offset by Ukrainian technology. And every time Russia tries to hide soldiers in Pokrovsk, Ukraine hunts them down.